How you guys doing? Uh, my name is Grandmaster Evan, and I'm a founder of the Anonymous Liberty Media here on YouTube. This video is very special, and there's a lot of fans in us of Marvel comics, but especially the legendary icon Stan Lee. Now, I remember as a kid in the 80s going to the nearest 7-Eleven, buying the newest issue of Marvel Comics. And whether it's Captain America, Iron Man, the X-Men, you name it. And I've been a huge fan of Captain America for a long time. This was the early to the mid 80s. I mean, this is time where you played video games on the Atari, or you went to the arcade, spent a quarter, and played your heart out. And some of us at the time were still comic book fans of the old comics from back in the day. And I remember reading Archie and Richie Rich, but I was mostly a big fan of Marvel. A big fan of Marvel, and huge fan. And Stanley was a big part of Marvel comic of the comic book industry, a huge part of it. And when he created Spider-Man and the X-Men, um, it was a huge social moment back in the day. You had historical moments in history. You had the civil rights movement. You had the Martin Luther King speech at the Lincoln Memorial. You had issues like drug addiction, alcoholism. That was pretty bad, and you had racism back in that day, even to this day. But it tackled social issues, religious issues, even political issues. But without Marvel Comics, we wouldn't know what the world would be like. We saw through the eyes of the people that did the comics. Okay, I mean, one of my all-time favorites has always been this guy. This guy, because he fought against bullies. Now, his backstory is very interesting. He was a scrawny guy. Steve Rogers was, and he wanted to join the army because he wanted to fight because he didn't like bullies. He wanted to take the fight to the bullies. It meant so much to Steve Rogers, and it was a huge, very huge to him. And he went through the super soldier program. And it meant so much to the guy, so much to him. And I mean, it was a very insane, tough time back then. Um, even as a kid, you you read these comics in here, and when you open each page, it's like you're being pulled into the action, but you're reading the comic and you're looking at the illustration, and just having your hand was so much better at the time than what you do now. Is you see it on your devices here. I mean, you download a comic app, and you see the characters in action. I've been a Marvel guy my whole life. I've been a Marvel guy my whole life, and it's just that it's huge. I mean, you had your favorite comic book hero, favorite character, favorite villain. Um, but Stanley and Jack Kirby did the work. They put everything in the comics. Now Spider Man was going. We all went through the change, like Peter Parker. You know, we were all teenagers once, and we all went through that teenage moments, and I mean, we all know. I mean, being a teenager wasn't easy. I mean, it's like, you know, you're in high school, and you see the most prettiest girl in school, or if you're a female, and you saw the most good looking guy in school, and you see him, and you get like, you get those feelings, you get those butterflies in your stomach and stuff. So, and the hormones, where like you start growing like hair in the area below, you know, from 13 on, from 12 to 13, you start to realize you're starting to get it itched down that area. And it's not very, don't feel good at all. But Spider Man, we all went through the change like Spider Man, and but the X Men. Now the X Men was another story that Stan Lee did, because the whole entire '60s was a very turbulent time, and you had mutants, humans that look like humans with special gifts. One can turn into an ice, can create ice with his bare hands. You know, have the ability to freeze things. Uh, One with wings that could fly like a bird. One that had saw his hands and feet a little bit too big, and look like can do things that, you know, apes can do. You know, that's Beast, Hank McCoy. Then he had one guy who needed special glasses to see because his eyes had beams, and one was telepathic, psychic, had the ability to move things with their mind. You know, and I mean, it wasn't so easy for everybody back then as it is now. I mean, things are kind of the same, but not as much, but kind of sublime. Then he had Professor X, who was also a telepath, also. He had Nightcrawler, who was a guy that could teleport, kind of go from one place to another within that. But Marvel Comics wasn't just about mutants with special gifts and stuff. I mean, you had Iron Man, who was a billionaire playboy philanthropist who used his wealth to create suits created suits. He was a mere human that wanted to do the right thing. Now, if you've seen the first Iron Man film, yeah, the guy was at a genius level, like Bruce Banner, no, like Bruce Wayne in Batman, billionaire with gifts to with a genius level intellect and built things, suits. One of them would be the Hulkbuster armor. This was the big up, and but I mean, we all loved heroes. I mean, we all love heroes. We idolize heroes, whether in a movie, or comic book, or in our daily lives. We idolize heroes like a father, uncle, grandfather, or like an older sibling, like a big brother or big sister, or a mom, or an aunt, or a grandmother, who we look at as heroes. Um, I had my heroes since I was born. My grandfather, my father, my uncles, my older cousins, and I look up to them. And to me, they're my heroes. I mean, I also have heroes in comics. Favorite comic book character, Captain America, um, because he hated bullies. I don't like bullies and stuff like that. So I mean, it's just that. But Stanley was is an icon, a legend in the comic book industry, and he was a great loss to all of us. I mean, I can admit I'm a geek, I'm a nerd, like when it comes to comic books and stuff like that. You look at heroes in a say big games like Assassin's Creed, and look at the Atari, who is his backstory is also very interesting. His dad his dad was an assassin. He ended up being one, and trained some way by his dad. But when he saw his uncle, things changed for him, and he became one of the best assassins of all time. Also a favorite, and also if you ever played Assassin's Creed 3, you look at Connor Kingway. He's a hero, but also a big part of the Assassin's Creed timeline. Big hero in that time. Took place during the Revolutionary War. I mean, heroes always will be a part with us until we meet the guy upstairs. And I mean, you can relate to a hero on some levels and in so many ways. Um, we could imagine, dream of being a hero and helping somebody, or in life we could help somebody and be a hero that way. I mean, you don't need to be put on that cape and cowl to help somebody. Just do the right thing. I think we're taught to learn life's tough lessons. And I think that it is tough, but we learn it every day. It's not easy, but it's hard, and it's worth to be hard because you can't have things easy. You gotta do things when it's hard because it makes you more determined to get things done. Um, It's amazing. I mean, it's just that um, huge loss that we have with Stanley. I mean, huge fans from when you were a kid, when your parent was a kid. I mean, going back to the 40s, the time when Batman, Superman, Captain America, and came out in the 40s, late 30s, early 40s. And these were heroes that came out that time. You know, Batman came out in 39. Um, was it 40? Superman came out in 39. America came out in 41. Time of the World War II, and I mean it was a pretty good time. I mean you had different comic books coming out, different characters. You had Captain Marvel. You had um, just that it was and also during the Korean War, the Vietnam War, comic books change over time, but it's still the same person. You know? I mean, you had that also another. Now, 1974 was the time of a change. I mean, you had, you needed an anti-hero. You need someone that did walk alone, did have, and that's what came in with Wolverine. He was I mean, he had his backstory was kind of interesting, and very interesting. If you've seen his movies, you've seen the books. I mean, he's in everything: comic books, movies, games. Big part of comic book history. Art and me is Sabretooth. Both go back years, well centuries really. But so now one of the very interesting characters ever come out in Marvel is Punisher. The Punisher's backstory was kind of interesting because his backstory was that he was in the military, became I guess he became a police officer or for the feds or whatnot, but the feds killed his family and he became Punisher, and he decided to punish people. The Punisher film came when Thomas Jane played the Punisher, and it was very graphic the way that he punched people, and kind of like the multiverse of Marvel, because went and got a Spider-Man noir. Each character in comics have now there's a where character like Batman would be seen in as a pirate, or like a Sherlock Holmes. Like different timelines, different time periods where you had Batman who was a samurai, Batman who was a pirate, Batman who was a kind of like Sherlock Holmes and stuff, and I kind of like that idea because you get to see your favorite character as they are in these different time periods. And it's very interesting. And and Stanley meant a lot to everybody that read comics. And but I found out some good news that he'll be in a cameo in Avengers 4. And he was in a lot of cameos from a lot of movies that you've seen. He's in there. One of my favorites is in the X-Men: The Last Stand, where he's the neighborly old guy who's watering his lawn, but the water's going up. Since what's going up? Very funny part there. And he also played the mailman in one of the films. Um, and that would be the Fantastic Four, where he plays the mailman, just a little cameo. And very interesting. And I've always been a big fan of the Iron Man suits. Mine's the stealth armor. Also, I like the this War Machine armor. Stanley would be missed for a long time. But what we can do is honor his memory. Talk about it. Talk about your favorite comic book character. Talk about your favorite. Talk about your first comic, the first movie in the MCU that you've seen, for the first one, and and how it became in awe to you, like totally amazing how it made the movie feel like it, like how you could relate to the character. I mean, you could be a big fan of a character in Star Wars. I mean, what the character meant to you, and I've always been a huge fan, big of Han Solo, because the character himself, Han Solo, is that he, if you've seen the episode 4, he was a smuggler on Tatooine. He was there with Chewie, and just cooperating, just kind of relaxing in the cantina in Tatooine. And He was a very important part of the film. I mean, a lot of heroes that have a backstory that, I mean, if you've seen the movie Solo, that's the backstory of the character himself. And he became a hero in his own right. And I mean, just a big part, huge part. And it was amazing backstory. Um, Huge backstory. I want to say before I go, losing Stan Lee is like a big. It's like it's like losing a member of your family. I mean, and it will be tough. It'll be hard on all of us. I mean, he was a hero to many, icon, a legend. Um, but he will be missed. And Excelsior, Stan. Excelsior. Thank you for what you've done for all of us, my friend. You've been a big part of all our lives. Through your comics, you helped us see how interesting characters are, and taught us something. Thank you, sir. My name is Grandmaster Evan. I'm the founder of the Anonymous Liberty Media. And if you're new to this channel, please leave a like, subscribe, comment below. And please share this video, and please press the bell for notification. And if you get this transmission, you are the resistance. Remember, knowledge is free. If you don't like it, go fuck yourself. Peace out. Reverend out.